Looks like we have a quorum. Do you agree?
Yes.
All right, well, we can go ahead and call to order at 3:48. And go to item 2, approval of the minutes from December the 10th. Any comment, questions on those?
Nope. Move to approve.
Valerie, you're going to need to second because I wasn't there.
Well, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Any opposed? All right, approval of the minutes, done. I guess now, Lori, it's on you for Stormwater Coordinator report.
Yes. Okay. Education and outreach. I just kind of wanted to let you guys know what we were doing. Our permit states we still have that we have to do some amount of public outreach and participation in public education. Obviously, this year that's been a little bit more challenging, not being able to get people together as much. But like I said last time, Audrey is going to work on Facebook posts for us. She did create 2 posts.
Lori, can you hold on a minute? Ken, can you mute your microphone?
Yeah, just a second here.
Okay, better. Audrey is working on Facebook posts. She did 2 in January. One was just kind of introducing herself. She did a great job with that. And then another one was about trying to use less salt on sidewalks. She did a cute little meme type thing of the sidewalk going on a low salt diet. I thought that was pretty creative. So we'll get hopefully working on some February posts soon. Another post, I've shared a couple things that I've seen, but we also had our first, I guess, outside of this committee, our first public participation event. And the Farragut High School Key Club, of which Audrey is a member, actually came out to the outdoor classroom a couple of weeks ago and did an invasive species removal along the stream in the same area that we worked last year with my AmeriCorps member Clay when we did invasive removal and then planted some native trees. So I think we had about 13 members of the Key Club come out donning their masks. It was a little rainy, but not too bad. It was just like off and on, kind of, misting and but it was nice. It had rained the night before or in the day before, so we had some good wet soil. And the group was really great. They were really determined and really invested in the project, and it was really great to see from the high school kids. They got 2 or 3 of them worked for probably an hour on trying to pull out one bush honeysuckle. It was massive, and they were determined to pull it out by the roots, which is ideal. And they got it. There was a lot of back and forth of pulling and pushing and stuff, but they got it. It was pretty amazing. And I think it made them feel really great to get that out. But they made a huge pile of mostly privet and bush honeysuckle. It might still be there if you want to walk by the outdoor classroom and see the massive amount of stuff they got out in a matter of 2 hours. It was great. And I think that they're going, hopefully they're going to be doing adopt a stream and maybe even coming back and pulling more invasives out, maybe planting some more trees in there. I've told them that might just be their baby from now on, that area. And they can kind of take care of that. So that was pretty cool. I have some other.
Lori, can I ask you real quick? Did you guys get pictures of that and get them posted?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think there was several pictures, I believe, at least one group picture that got posted by the Water Quality Forum, and then I shared that. I feel like they had some other pictures on there, but that was, like a week and a half ago. I don't remember what happened on Facebook then, but yeah, we definitely have pictures, lots of pictures. So, and then the other thing that I'm going to start working on again soon is last year we had talked about creating some signs to put along the greenways about illicit discharges, and I just didn't get around to doing that for many reasons, mostly COVID and crazy work hours and whatever else. But I'm starting to think about that again. I actually created some signs last year, but now that I'm looking at them, I think they're a little bit we'll say maybe too complicated or too busy, I think, for people walking by. I want it to be something much more simple. So I'm gonna think about redesigning those. And then hopefully in the spring, when people are getting out and walking some more, we can have those out.
Lori, have you reached out to Parks and Rec to see if maybe Sue or Wendy could help with verbiage that would make it something that's easy to, people will stop and read it and not get lost in it? They might be good people to go to.
Yeah, I'll definitely ask them, because I know that they have also Karen works. There's a Karen that works for them, does a lot of our tourism media stuff, and she's really good at designing things. So I may reach out to her. I'm thinking something that just kind of has a picture of, paint in the stream or paint down a storm drain or something like that, with just like a title and a caption and then the website to report stuff. Something just very simple that lets people know this is illegal, you can report it, and just kind of leave it at that. And maybe on the website have more information. If they wanted to go and read more, they could. I just feel like a lot of people aren't going to stop for a matter of minutes to read a sign. So if I can make it short and sweet, hopefully we'll at least catch a few people. So that's what I have going on for education and outreach, and hopefully as the months go on, be able to continue that and start bringing back little things here and there. We do have a group at the outdoor classroom. I think we might have a couple that are working in the little garden beds. Oh, and we actually had a Girl Scout troop that put shelving and different stuff up inside of the shed at the outdoor classroom. Organized it and put, tool holders and all kinds of stuff in there. So it looks really great. And that same group, I think, is going to adopt one of the planter beds and do like a pollinator garden. So we are seeing people starting to come out of the woodwork a little bit. And of course, like I said, I'm still not planning on doing a lot of events, just because we still have to be really careful, obviously, with large groups and safety precautions because of COVID. But hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit more of that as the summer comes. Any questions, comments, or suggestions? Okay. I will go on to the stormwater system mapping update. There's kind of two parts to that project. The first we'll say is the pipe repairs. We had, put that out to bid a while back. Board of Mayor and Aldermen approved that back in December, I believe. And I believe that that project is actually going to get started in, I want to say March or April. I think is when they're going to actually mobilize. So, and that'll run through, maybe June or July. I think it was just going to take a few months. So that'll be getting started soon. And then we are having a meeting with CEC, which is the company that we contracted with for the mapping portion of it. We're having a meeting with them next week to talk about moving forward with the mapping and the general assessment of our stormwater infrastructure. And hopefully we'll be able to get from them a proposal and with a cost estimate of how much it might be to complete the rest of the town. And we've told them, maybe over a 4-year period. So we're hoping to get information from them so that we can start working on plugging that into the budget and kind of know what that might be looking like for the next 4 to 5 years. Any questions on that topic? Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. All right, so next, NOVs. I don't think I have any active NOVs. After today, there might be some, because there's one subdivision that I need to go check out, and there's one site that is still under a stop work order. They had started working, this was back in, I want to say January, maybe it was December. We had to issue a stop work order because the site didn't have a grading permit yet. But we've done a site visit with them. They just have a little bit of some repair and some extra erosion control measures to install. There's a wetland on site that they didn't have. We think they had it delineated, but there was no flagging out there. So when we went to do our pre-construction inspection, we weren't sure where the wetland limit was or the 25-foot buffer. So we've asked them to have their consultant reflag that so that we can just confirm that they're not encroaching on the buffer for that wetland before they get started. And once they get all that taken care of, then they'll be able to get working. Right now, like I said, no NOVs. A couple folks we have our eyes on, but nothing major at this point. Again, if you guys ever see anything, please feel free to shoot me an email. Sometimes that's how we find out about things because it's hard to be everywhere all at once. Next thing, this is just a really brief update. A couple of years ago, we started working on a watershed plan with the intent of getting that watershed plan approved by the EPA so that we could then potentially apply for some funding to do like stream restoration type projects. I got working on that. Some other stuff came up and I wasn't able to complete it. I got contacted by the gentleman at Knox County who has been doing watershed plans for a very long time and has been applying for these grants for a long time. And since Turkey Creek, especially the, not Little Turkey Creek, but Turkey Creek, its headwaters, and actually probably about half of the stream length is actually in Knox County. So he called and asked if we wanted to make this a collaborative effort and work on the watershed plan together, and then perhaps also together apply for some grant funding for it. So don't have a timeline on that. He's just kind of looking over what I've gotten done so far. But it'll be a great help to have him on board, and have Knox County on board, do like a, you know, multi-jurisdictional project, since this watershed does cross our jurisdictional boundaries. So I'm excited about that because I could use the extra help. Any questions or comments, suggestions about Watershed Plan?
Lori, I have a question for you. So obviously we have Turkey Creek, we have Little Turkey Creek. We have some other, is that all the only ones we have? There's more than that, isn't there?
Well, there's North Fork Turkey Creek, which is part of Turkey Creek, and then we have a little bit of Sinking Creek.
Okay.
But I couldn't even tell you how many stream miles it is. It might not even be a full mile. It's not much, so it's not something that we've really concentrated on a lot.
Okay.
So, and I think that's in the more kind of south or east. It might be come out of Concord Hills, actually. That farther east part of Concord Hills, I think, is where that comes from.
Okay. All right.
As I look at the map, so there's just a very, very small amount of that's actually in our jurisdiction. So
What actually does a watershed plan involve?
So the watershed plan gives an overall description of the watershed, from demographics to the geography, soils, geology, climate, kind of overall environmental picture. And then it kind of steps through, okay, well, is this stream polluted? If it is, what is it polluted with or for? What is the source of these pollutants? And then you kind of create kind of action plan where you'd have a monitoring plan. So that would involve obviously surface water sampling, but it might also, as far as the action plan, you're going to do education, or you might do a stream restoration project, or you might do some buffer enhancement projects. And then of course the monitoring is a way to tell you if those efforts are being effective. For instance, we don't have a lot of septic systems here in Farragut, but in Knox County, in many areas, they have a lot of them. And especially if they're old, then you tend to get a leaking septic system. And depending geographically where that's located, it may cause some pretty significant pollution in a stream. So what this gentleman, his name is Roy Arthur, he actually has a park in Knox County now named after him, for all of his efforts that he's done with all of these watershed plans and stuff. But one of the watersheds in Knox County, that they recently completed a grant project on, they went and they worked with residents to do cost sharing of repairing or replacing septic systems. And so that, of course, then in turn would reduce the amount of fecal material, bacteria that were getting into the stream, and therefore made it so, improve the water quality. So that was just, one example. It is not going to be the same here because we don't have our source of pollution is not going to be septic systems. It's probably sanitary sewer overflows, or animal waste, broken pipes, different things like that. So, this is one where we'll probably get First Utility involved quite a bit, potentially. So anyway, hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions about watershed plan? Okay. So the last thing that I have is about staffing. This is kind of a heads up. in a way. It has nothing, it's not me, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. So currently in this year, I have been working without an AmeriCorps member. My understanding is that it's possible that the town might have a somewhat normal budget going into this next fiscal year. David Smoke, our town administrator, asked me to submit a justification for having the AmeriCorps member back again. So I have submitted that to him. Normally, it doesn't seem like this would be late in the game to get an AmeriCorps member, but the AmeriCorps program is probably already 2 or 3 weeks into their recruitment period for those AmeriCorps members starting in August. I got information that this might be a possibility from the budget perspective, so I emailed the AmeriCorps program director and said, look, we might have funding. Do you happen to have a position? And he said, I actually just had one site mention that they don't think they're going to be able to host a member. So he needs to know in the next probably week or two if we're going to have the money for an AmeriCorps member. So we've encouraged our administrator to ponder it quickly. Because we don't want to hold if there's another site that might be able to have an AmeriCorps member, we certainly don't want to hold them up. So, so anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that's in the works. There is a possibility that we might be able to bring an AmeriCorps member back in August. The other news is something that will affect us more immediately, and that is that Scott Brewer, our engineering technician, his last day is tomorrow. He'll be leaving, and that's important for me because he is the one that does all of the lot level erosion control inspections. He does all of the monthly inspections of the TDEC regulated sites, and he does all of our drainage requests, among other things. But those are the main 3 things that are kind of impact me in the stormwater program. So I'm down an AmeriCorps member, and I'm going to be down an inspector for the next, probably at least 4 weeks. If you try to find me or reach me and I take a while to get back, it might be because I'm truly swamped. I think there is going to be somebody hired to replace him. I think that job got posted last night. So if you guys, know of anybody, like I said, I think it got posted last night on the Town of Farragut website, so you can, hop on there and see what's required. I haven't even looked at it yet myself, to see what they're looking for this replacement. But, like I said, we'd love to have somebody great in here, somebody that has some experience that can at least somewhat hit the ground running. That's the wish list as far as I know. But please send help. I think that's all I have for you guys.
Thanks, Lori. Appreciate that. That's a lot of information. I'll keep my eyes open. I run into guys all the time, so
Yeah.
We'll see what can happen. Item 4, business items. Are there any business items to discuss?
I don't have anything for you guys at this time. If there's anything you guys can think of that you might want to, discuss next meetings, or anything you guys think we might need to take a vote on, let me know. I have passed on the maintenance agreements. We worked on those last year. The post-construction stormwater control measure maintenance agreement, I've passed those on to David Smoke, the administrator, because we're pretty sure that the attorney is going to have to review those. And I think that this committee has done what we need to do with that, unless there's any major changes that come back. We've reviewed it and multiple times and approved it on the Stormwater Committee side of things. So I don't think there'll be any voting needed unless that gets substantially changed for some reason.
All right, is there any other discussion? Anything anybody wants to bring up? No? Okay. Well, is there somebody? All right, our next meeting is March the 11th, 3:45.
I just wanted to apologize for not finding my unmute button earlier. So I would have seconded. I just couldn't figure that out.
I'll put your name down. No, whatever. No.
I was here.
Are you there?
I've
All
been
right.
here. It just took me about 5 minutes to get everything together.
Nice.
All right, well, we can adjourn at 4:14. Everybody have a good one. Thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.